yeah, it was difficult because, I was designing my brand, my logo. I have had some really crap logos over the years. And then eventually there came a stage where it's like, okay, I just need to get a designer and get them to do it and not think, hey, I can do that. Why would I pay somebody all this money for something that I can just do on Canva? It's like, no, actually, it's worth investing in these things, especially as you start kind of stepping up, I guess. But yeah, it's massive. I guess the hunger isn't as there as it was before, whereas now I would describe it more as momentum. So it's quite hard for us to not gain new inquiries, which is a really nice situation. Whereas back then I was fighting, tooth and nail to try and get new customers through. And I think maybe that's, something to do with the fact that having the ability to cash out like I did has taken away all of my financial strains, and, it's allowed me to not have outgoings like I used to. Whereas when I first started, I was taking out Wonga loans to have enough budget to really do anything as a business, because I had no inheritance. I was pretty much just living underneath a staircase, like a crap Harry Potter. But yeah, it's just like literally just struggling by was how it used to be, and whereas now I'm in a really privileged position to be able to look after my kids and provide for the family. And equally I think just bought my brother a house and helped out family, and being in a position to do those kind of things is just great. That's the whole point of all of it all along.
What enabled you to give you that kind of freedom to go and explore some of these opportunities was having that structure, that team structure around you, to make sure that the lights stayed on, that the wheels kept on turning on the, that bit of the business, to make sure that you had the cover there. That gave
the models are similar, right? So for the lead gen, we're using the resources from the agency. So we're building micro websites. We know how to run PPC campaigns. We know how to run performance campaigns. We know how to do SEO. So we're just borrowing skills from one and putting it into the other. Same with the software company, we're taking our knowledge of SEO and applying it into another field. And then, more recently, starting the new drop shipping businesses. So we just launched a bifold door business, which is direct to consumer, partnered with one of my customers who owns a factory, developing these. They're a fraction of the price of anybody else, but everyone else is creating friction by having salespeople involved, whereas we're just doing live online quoting. So we built it ourselves. We would then run all of the ads through our own agency. So at times where we struggled to win business, we just created our own business and then gave it to ourselves. We were a very early adopter of Zapier or Zapier years ago, when it was in kind of like alpha and beta, because of my obsession of automating things as much as I could. So instead of just documenting the processes, I used to do all of the processes myself. So I knew what they were, and I knew enough about coding to create not my own platform, but enough to patch different platforms together. So we used our SEO software, which then sent alerts over to Basecamp, which created tasks, and into our billing system to create invoices and recurring structures. And then autonomously, if somebody didn't pay their bill, we would send a signal going the other way, stopping work and put it on hold on all of the Basecamp tasks. And those Basecamp tasks would then be automated into a help desk system. So if somebody was asking a question, they could just be fed through. So obsessing a lot around API connections was the only way of doing it, and is the only way of doing it. And even by trying to build our own system to do it, it's still not worthwhile. You might as well just pay for the individual software platforms and just use robust API connections from one platform to another. Because a lot of these companies have invested millions and millions of pounds on each part of that automation journey. So it's pointless reinventing the wheel. You look at companies like Crude. I used to call them Crude. I think they're called Crowd, which were a bit like our model in the sense that they have like UK people and US people, and then they have a big outsource operation behind them doing a lot of the long work. But they only work with clients of 10K plus a month, whereas we work with anyone from 50 quid a month plus. And the rules even now are still the same, whether they're paying that much or a huge sum of money. Working with Hotel Chocolat, it's exactly the same pay per hour as somebody paying £200 a month. Same with W.H. Smith, same with H. Samuel, Ernst Jones. Nobody gets preferential treatment. Nobody gets overcharged. And we just heavily focus on what can we automate? What can we automate easily without now having to invest a load of cash and burning cash? Use Zapier, look at cross compatibility from CMS to billing to communication. I haven't found a better way of doing it, of that over 9 years of different operation managers thinking that they could, we do it this way. It's just no.